So the instructions here say to state whether each percent of change is a percent increase or a percent decrease. And in order for us to state that exact percent increase or decrease, we need to know what the change is, right? So let's go back to our notes over here. So here are our notes. It's a proportion, a fraction equal to another fraction. And it's always is over of equals percent over 100. Let me put that equal sign a little bit bolder. Okay, so once again, what is the change of the original amount? And that way you could find out what percent that change is. Okay, so let's create a proportion for number 1. Now, the question is, what is the change? It went from original 18 down to 10. So how much did it change? 8. So what is the change? The change is 8. Of the original amount, which is 18, equals x over 100. Perfect. We don't know the percent. We know it's always over 100. We want to find out that percent change. So in order to determine the percent change, you need to know what the change is. And the change from 18 to 10 was $8 difference, right? An $8 decrease. So anyways, now we could cross multiply and set this up. You could reduce first and make this a 4 over a 9. And then you could cross multiply. 4 times 100 is 400 equals 9 times x is 9x. So we know to solve this equation, we're going to have to divide by 9 to get the x by itself. And x will equal, and I'm going to do this on a calculator, 400 divided by 9. That'll give me 4.444. And it continues on forever. 44.444. And the 4 continues on forever. Now we are talking about a percent up here. So what percent is this? Especially on the instructions, it tells us to round it to the nearest percent. So what's the percent? 44%. So is it a 44% increase or a 44% decrease? Decrease. So here's our answer, 44% decrease. Now why is it a decrease? Because originally it was 18 and obviously it decreased down to 10. How did it change? It changed by 8. The original amount was 18. We reduced, we cross multiplied, we solved, and we found out this missing value, which is a value over 100, which means that that's a percent. And the answer was 44.444. You only want the percent, so it's 44%. If that would have been a 5, it would have been a 45%. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, it would have changed to a 45, but because it's a 4, it stays at 44%. Okay, let's try another one. Let me jump to number 3 right here. So we need to determine what the change is. What's the change from 200 to the new amount, 320? 120. So when we're saying what is the change, we know it's 120. And it's actually 120 increase, right? It went up in price, okay? And it's always what is the change over the original or of the original amount. So the original amount goes on the bottom, 200. And percent, you don't know, over 100 always. Perfect. And again, it's a cross multiplication problem here. Let's reduce first. The zeros could cancel out. Even 12 over 20 could reduce by 2. And it'll become 6 over 10, which could reduce by 2 again, and it'll be 3 over 5. So you could reduce both top and bottom by 4, and it'll be a 3 over 5. So that whole fraction, 120 over 200, you could reduce to 3/5. And then it's easier to cross multiply. 3 times 100 equals 5 times x. So that's really 300 equals 5x. And we know that to get rid of that 5, you divide by 5, and you'll get 300 on a calculator divided by 5, that is 60. So you have 60 equals x. It's a nice number. So the question is, what percent increase or decrease happened? 60% increase. So our answer should be 60% increase. That's how much it went up in price, which is crazy. All right, let's jump to the next type of question that we're going to be doing. We're not going to be cross multiplying on these guys. Let me jump to number 11 here. Right here, they want us to find the total price. So yes, we could cross multiply to find out the taxes and then add it to the original amount, but we should know that shortcut from our notes. The shortcut was total price equals the original amount times parenthesis 1 plus, it's a plus because we're calculating taxes, which is obviously going to make it go up. And this is R, which is the rate. R is the rate, but you want to write as a decimal. Okay, so this is obviously not sales tax here in California. This may be in Arizona, right? So let's figure out the total price. And we're going to figure out the total price by putting the original amount, 240, multiplied by 1 plus this rate, but as a decimal. What do I do with this decimal on the percent? I move it where? Twice to the left. That's right. So it's actually going to be a, if I go 1, 2, it's going to be a 0.065. And you could put 650, you could just leave it like that. Or you could even put a 0 in front. It doesn't really matter, right? I'm not going to put the 0 in front. Let me just erase it. Anyway, so on the calculator, you could do this, 240 times 1.065. Why? Because I could add 1 plus 0.065 in my head. But I do want you to show this work by putting the plus sign here because it is an increase in price. On another problem, it might say that there's a sale and this would be a decrease in price, so that would be a minus. So anyways, on the calculator, 240 times 1.065, hit equal, and you will get on the calculator 255.6. Since we're talking about money, add on a 0. So this is your out the door price for this crib that originally, or that cost $240, but with taxes, it comes out to $255.60. Let's try another. Let's jump to number 13. There is no 13. Okay. Let's jump to number 13, 14, 16. So we did an increase in price. All these are increased, right? Taxes are going to make that jacket go up higher. Blanket make the price go up higher with the taxes. Right here we have decrease, right? Find the discounted price. So let's say you're at a store, a dry cleaning store, and there's a discount of 15% for being a student. I don't know. So how do we calculate this? This is a decrease. So again, we're going to go to our notes. Total price is going to equal, and you're going to start with the original amount, original price. You're going to multiply it by 1, but instead of plus the R, it's going to be minus R. Now, why minus? Because this is a discount. This is going to make it drop in price. If it's taxes, it's going to make it go up in price, so you put plus, but because it's a discount, it's going to make it drop in price, so you put minus. And again, remember, R has to be the percent, but written as a decimal. So let's figure this out. The original amount was $25 times 1 minus, what is this percent written as a decimal going to be? 0.15. Okay, think about it. Decimal back here goes 2 spaces. 1, 2, right in front of the 1. So it will be 0.15. And let's close parentheses. So what you're going to do on the calculator is simply this. 25 times, you could type it out 1 minus 0.15, or you could in your head say $1 minus 15 cents, that's 85 cents, right? So you could do that in your head and then multiply it. And when I go 25 times 0.85, I get 21.25. So if you go to a dry cleaning store and you have an original amount of $25 charge, and they give you a student discount of 15% off, instead of $25, you're going to be paying $21.25. Let's go to the hardest type of question on this homework. So on 22, you want to buy a television that's $375, and there's a good sale going on, 25% off. Okay, and then after that, let's say you're in Arizona, not here, because the sales tax is different at 6%. So let's calculate what the out-the-door price is for a TV in Arizona that's 25% off. Okay, we're going to begin with the notes that we need to know. The notes say that the total price is going to equal the original amount times parentheses 1. Now, if I'm talking about the discount, is it going to increase the price or decrease the price? Decrease, which means that it has to be a 1 minus because it's discount. The discount, the decrease makes it a minus. And what belongs right here is the R. Now, R is the percent, but written as a decimal. So we're talking about 25%, but you want to write it as a decimal. What's it going to be as a decimal? 0.25, that's right. Okay, so let's actually plug in all that we have so far for this first part of the problem. First of all, calculating the discount. Then after we calculate the discount, then we can worry about calculating the taxes. So the original amount is 375, parenthesis, 1 minus 0.25. So on your calculator, you're just going to do 375 times 0.75. And that will give you the 25% discount. So 375 on my calculator times 0.75. The answer is 281.25. So ladies and gentlemen, this is the new price of the TV. It originally was $375, but with the 25% off, it's now $281.25. Now we still can't just think that we're going to only pay $281.25. We also have to calculate the taxes, right? So this is our new price, our new total price. Okay, but we need to calculate taxes. This last part, taxes is 6%. So is taxes going to make it increase or decrease? Increase. So once again, let's write down the notes. Again, the notes, total price equals the original amount, but this is now the new total. The new total goes right here in the original amount. So the new total goes in the original amount. And since we're doing taxes, it's going to increase this time. And it's going to increase by what percent? 6%. But 6% written as a decimal, what's it going to be? 0.06, right? So if you move it over 2 spaces, it's going to be 0.06. So 0.06. So actually, I shouldn't have even done that yet. I probably should have written just R, and then we plug it in later just to show the complete notes right here. So the original amount is 281.25. We're going to multiply it by 1 plus 0.06. We said 6% as a decimal is 0.06. So let's do this on the calculator. On the calculator, I'm going to write 281.25 times, I might as well do the 1 plus 0.06 in my head and just multiply it by 1.06. Hit equal, and my final answer right there will be 298.125. So what's the out-the-door price for this TV that's 25% off that has a 6% sales tax? $298.13, because the 5 changes the 2 to become a 3. Now that's as hard as it gets. Now again, that's the hardest type of question. Let's jump around. Let's go back to something like this. Let's say a printer costs $255. This one's also very lengthy. We have to do separate math here. Let's do this first part of finding the discount. And again, the notes, you're going to take your original amount and multiply it by 1 minus R. So you're going to put in the calculator 255 times 1 minus R. R is the discount, but not as a percent. You want it as a decimal. So 1 minus what? 0.30, or you could just say 0.3. So if you wanted to, you could type this all in the calculator, Or you could do one step in your head. 1 minus 0.30 is 0.70, right? $1, take away 30 cents is 70 cents. So on the calculator, 255 times 0.70, 255 times 0.70, you get 178.5. Okay, so this is the new discounted price. This is a new price. Now you want to find taxes on that new price, then you're going to take that original 178.5 and you're going to multiply it by 1. Now taxes is going to cause an increase or decrease? Increase, so that's going to be a plus. And the percent, 5.5, written as a decimal, is going to be what? 0.055. So on the calculator, you're going to do 178.5 times 1.055. Let me do that. 178.5 times 1.055. Hit equal. We get a final answer of 188.3175. In terms of money, what's my actual out the door price? $188.32 because the 7 changes that 1 to a 2. So it's $188.32 for this original $255 printer out the door with taxes at 5.5%. So let's jump to number 2 up on top. Now they're asking for what is the percent change? What is the percent change? Okay, and they want the percent rounded in whole numbers. So what is the percent change? Well, first of all, what kind of change do we have from 140 to 160? It's a $20 change, and it's an increase. Okay, so if I say what is the change, you're going to say it's a $20 increase. $20 increase, right? So right here we are going to use the is over of equals percent over 100. Okay. Now, when I say is over of, I say, what is the change? You guys just told me that the change, what is the change? You said it was 20. So that's a 20% increase, or not 20%, a $20 increase of the original amount. Where does the of go? On the bottom. So if I say of the original amount, that's 140 on the bottom. Okay? And if we're asking what is the percent change, then we don't know the percent. And percent's usually up here. But we're going to write it as X because we don't know the percent. That's what they're asking us to do on the first part. And we always know that percent is always over 100. Okay, so on numbers 1, 2, and 3, we are cross multiplying. Okay, and the easiest way to do that is to reduce 2 over 14, reduces down to 1 over 7, and then you cross multiply. So you would say 1 times 100 equals 7 times X. 7 times X. So that's really an equation that reads 100 equals 7x. And to get rid of the 7, you're going to divide by 7. And you'll have x equals, and with the calculator, 100 divided by 7, we get 14.285. And that's what x equals. But they say give your percent increase or decrease as a whole percent, not as a decimal. So what would you say it is? 14%. Now, is this 14% increase or decrease? Increase. So this is the complete answer for number 2. It's
a x equals 14?
X is 14, and that was the percent that we found. The X was over 100, we found the percent, and it's a 14% increase.
So that's $14.29?
No, we're not talking, again, on this first part, they give us an original amount, they give us a new amount. We need to know that the change was 20% increase. And they're asking for what the percent of change was. So in order to set up, to find out what the percent of change was, you put the what in the percent, the X over the 100, and the change was 20 over the original 140. Cross multiply, you find out that it was a 14% increase. I hope that helps. So number 12, we're talking about a jacket that costs $125, and we want to calculate the out-the-door price, including the taxes of 5.5%. Let's jump to our notes. the notes say that the total price is equal to the original amount multiplied by 1, and if it's an increase it's going to be a plus, if it's a decrease it's going to be a minus, and this is an increase because it's taxes. And we're going to put the R right here, which is the percent, but we need to write that percent as a decimal. So 125 was the original amount, and then we put 1 plus the percent, 5.5%, but as a decimal, which means we're going to move it 2 spaces over, so it's going to be a 0.05. So on the calculator, we're going to do 125 times 1.05, and it'll give us a final answer of 131.25, and that's your $125 jacket out the door if your sales tax was 5.5%. So number 14, there's our notes. Total price is the original amount. The original amount is $24.99 times 1 plus the sales tax, but written as a decimal, that would be 0.07. So you put 0.07. So what you're going to type in the calculator is 24.99 times 1.07, which is the answer, 26.7393, which means that our answer is actually going to be $26.74 because the 9 changes the 3 to a 4. So $26.74 is the correct answer for number 14. Jumping to number 17, right here, we're talking about discount, so we're not going to have this 1 plus. The plus is not going to be there because the discount is going to be a minus instead of a plus. So listen up, guys. Number 17, you either have an increase in price or a decrease in price according to your situation. If it's an increase in price, you're going to have a plus, but this is a discount, which means that it's going to be a minus. Okay, so you have to have a minus in there in the formula. So your total price is going to, or your new price, we should put new. So what's the original amount? $49.99. Multiplied by 1 minus R. But R, you want it as a decimal, which is going to be what? 0.25. It says 25% discount. The discount's 25%, but you can't just write 25. You have to write it as a decimal, which means you take that decimal, move it over 2 spaces, which it's going to go in as a 0.25. So in your calculator, you're simply going to go $49.99 times, now you could even do this in your head, $1 take away 25 cents is 75 cents. So you could put on the calculator, that's what I'm going to do right now this second, check it out, $49.99 times 0.75. So my price, my new price is 37.4925. So what's my new price? $37.49. The 2 does not change the 9. It stays like that. Okay, so it all depends if you're doing a discount or an increase. If it's a discount, it has to be a minus. If it's an increase, it's going to have to be a plus. All right, let's try number 18. And this is a decrease in price. So obviously we're going to have a minus sign in our formula. Okay, so what's the original amount? 185. We're going to multiply that by 1 minus what? We can't just say 30. 0.30. Now remember, 30% as a decimal, it gets moved 2 spaces to the left, so it would be 0.30 instead of 30%. So a decimal, you move it to convert a percent to a decimal, you move it 2 spaces over, 1, 2, it's 0.30. That's your decimal. That represents 30%. So on the calculator, you could type it in exactly the way it is, 185 times parentheses 1 minus 0.30, or you could do the 1 minus 0.30 in your head and say 185 times 0.7, and that'll give you an answer of 129.5. So that's your new price. Now, this is not including taxes, but that's your new price. If you're trying to find out how much the price drops with a 30% discount, that would be it. So right now, let's jump to one that requires everything, the discount and taxes. Let's go to number 23. So again, we have, wait, is this the right formula?
No.
No. What should I have instead of a plus? A minus. This should be a minus, okay? So there it is, the correct formula. And let's plug in our numbers. And this is kind of like a two-step process here. You want to find out how much your new price is with the 20% discount. Now, here's the problem. Wait a minute. First of all, DVD player, that's not, we should call it something else. I don't know, Blu-ray player. And even still, Blu-ray players are not $269. Whatever. Your original amount is $269. You're going to multiply it by 1, and you're going to go minus the discount, but as a percent. I mean, as a decimal, not a percent. So what is that decimal? 0.20. So you plug in a 0.20 right here. So on the calculator, you're going to go 269 times 1 minus 0.20. You could actually type it in, close parenthesis, hit equal, or you could just type in 0.80. If I take $1 and I subtract 20 cents, I'll have 80 cents. So 269 times 0.80, you get 215.2. So my new price is 215.2. Now I still need to calculate taxes on that new price. So we're going to use the same formula, but instead of a minus, we're going to put a plus. Okay. So let me write the formula down. There it is. Your new price that you just calculated times 1 plus the rate. Okay. So we need to know what the sales tax is on this particular situation, which is 7%. Okay. So 7%, but as a decimal, what's that going to be? 0.07, right? So if you move it over 1 space, 2 spaces, the decimal will be here. You have to put a 0 right there. So it's really 0.07. So your new price is 215.2, and you're going to multiply that by 1 plus the 7%, but as a decimal, that'll be a 0.07. And on the calculator, if you go 215.2 times 1.07, hit equal, it'll give you your final price of $230.264, which means that your final out-the-door price is $230.26. The 4 does not change the 6 to a 7. So that was a two-step process. It does not get harder than that. So on this video, on this half-hour video, I've explained every single question on this homework assignment. I hope you guys, if you get stuck, you go to this video to get help.